All right. I think we are live. Hello, everybody. Thank you for clicking on. It is 8:50 p.m. on the 8th day of December. Currently 54 degrees outside where I'm at. It's going to get up into the 60s tomorrow. And then the day after that on Sunday, it's going to drop down into the 20s. So, yay. Um, Welcome. Again, thank you for clicking on. Chris is going to join us at 9 o'clock. We're on StreamYard again, so none of the bells and whistles of the opening or anything like that. But I do appreciate you clicking on, and thank you very much. And we will, again, get Chris up here. Um, and let me do that while I am thinking of it. Um, because we haven't been we've been working off of Restream, and I've been having problems with that. So, hi, peace, love, and sunshine. Thank you for being here. Again, thank you all for being here. Um, we'll get started tonight with a little something from friend of the show, Ford Fisher. And Ford was live in New York City tonight. Pro-Palestinian March that began, they took over Wall Street and then marched through New York City. Let me get a little bit of volume here if I can. So again, if you want to see the whole thing, Ford Fisher news to share would be the site for that, and just one of the protests that have been going on. Protest outside Anthony Blinken's mansion in the D.C. area. Protest outside of Joe Biden fundraiser. And it's going to continue. Of course, we're going to be talking about that coming up when Chris gets on here in about, around 10 minutes from right now. In the meantime, this comes from the Associated Press. South Korea defense chief threatens strikes on the heart and head, quote unquote, of North Korea if North Korea continues to provoke. So saber rattling going on between both of the Koreans, North and South. U.S. Navy warships don't have to worry much about the missiles the Houthis keep throwing around, but not everyone can say the same. This comes from Business Insider. And the point to this, experts say the Navy ships are not at risk, but the Houthis do pose a threat to international shipping. And if things do escalate with the Houthi rebels off of operating out of the western part of Yemen, then eventually the United States is going to have to act. And that's one of the things we're going to be talking about tonight. A lot of things have happened. Stick around for the X-Files, by the way, the X-bookmark scroll. Putin sends a message to the world and also announces an election. This came in 6 hours ago from Reuters. The spontaneous election announcement. He basically announced he's going to run for president again, and he wants to be the president of Russia for 6 more years. And of course, anybody that runs against him will seek some kind of, will incur some kind of physical harm. I mean, come on, we keep it real here. And again, thank you for clicking on. Seven delusions plaguing the mind of the Trump base voter. This comes from The Hill. The Hill is the Capitol Hill. It's kind of the official, unofficial paper it used to be a paper, now it's a website of Congress. Okay, I don't want to start with this. I want to get down. Here we go. The 7 things that keep the Trump voter voting for Trump, and it's rather significant because Trump is still the Republican favorite, despite everything that has happened. And people are wondering why. Well, whatever Trump says or does, no matter the evidence to the contrary, his loyal followers normalize, downplay, excuse, and rationalize his behaviors, speech, his legal issues, any of dozens of instances of his controversial behavior would have doomed any traditional presidential candidate before even June 15th, when he first descended the Trump escalator. So, number 1 is the deceptive rationalization. Number 2, they say, is the respect for strongman image. Now, I even lost I lost some viewers and subscribers over this, and I said this like 3 years ago. I ran a piece about how a lot of the people that were supporting Trump was just because they themselves had to have a daddy figure, and that's basically what number 2 is. That's their proposal as well. Number 3, Biden is much worse than Trump. When I discussed Trump's dictatorial language with Trump voting friends, one said, Biden is not an option. I take Trump any day over Biden. He's better than what we have now. Okay, there's no justification for that, but that stance prevails when you talk to someone who supports Trump. The right-leaning media echo chambers made Trump a respectable alternative to Biden. That's true. They do not talk much about what is really going on. Furthermore, Republicans are more enthusiastic about voting in 2024, so Trump can undo the damage Biden has done. We're going to have an episode where we talk about what has actually gone on in the United States since Biden's been president. I'm not supporting him. I'm not propping him up, but it's a lot better if you take the hate out of it and you just look at actual facts. I know that pops a lot of bubbles, but nonetheless. Number 4 is whataboutism. Comparing Trump to Biden and his son Hunter is a favorite MAGA mind game. For every controversial Trump action, there's a Biden equivalent that evens the playing field. Trump and his voters believe Biden has weaponized the government, most notably the Justice Department. On Tuesday, when Hannity asked Trump if he would use the government to go after people, he says, "You mean like they're using right now?" So it's not accidental. At an Iowa rally, Trump said Joe Biden is the destroyer of American democracy. And then Trump comes out and says he's going to be a dictator. For those that do not understand, that would indeed destroy American democracy. Rural, blue-collar America gives its middle finger to government authority. This is very true. And they think by voting for Trump, it's a way of giving the blue-collar America thinks it's a way of giving the middle finger to government authority for some reason, as if Trump's not going to get in and immediately take every power he possibly can and use it against his loyal people first, because they're the ones most likely to stab him in the back. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just look at the history of Hitler. 6, Trump represents an American first policy that gets things done. Trump bragged, "I kept Israel safe. I kept Ukraine safe. None of this stuff would have happened. And I kept the entire world safe. And as the 47th president, we'll do it again." And the crowds cheer wildly. This is significant because the optics, the opinions, the perception is that Biden is not necessarily keeping America safe. When you look at our southern border, when you look at the number of attacks, which we will be looking at coming up here shortly when Chris joins, it's not Biden isn't giving off a perception of strength and keeping America safe. Okay. 7, us versus them. You hear this a lot. Those people, them. Charles Barkley has a quote, has a clip out where he says he can't support Trump because the nuts that support Trump are like your friend who gets drunk and you just can't tell them anything. And there's such a small minority of them compared to the rest of the country that they have to use an us versus them to galvanize, not realizing it's not you, the people, it is we, the people. And that is indeed a perception that is a threat to democracy. Hang on. Okay. Again, Chris is going to be up here in just a couple of minutes. Got just 2 more things to share here. U.S. police agencies took intelligence directly from the Israeli Defense Force, IDF. Leaked files shows this comes in from The Guardian 10 hours ago. And this started back in, let me get it right. It started back in the 90s. It's under the Blue Leaks trove if you want to look it up. And basically, U.S. law enforcement agencies for decades received analysis of incidents in Israeli-Palestine conflict directly from IDF and Israeli think tanks, training on domestic, quote, Muslim extremism, end quote, from pro-Israel nonprofits and surveilled social media accounts of pro-Palestinian activists in the United States. So apparently that's been going on for decades. Israel's losing the war, according to The Nation, and this primarily is it's not about Israel losing the actual battles, but the perception battle with the rest of the world. And finally, we're going to look at Palestine. History of Palestine. See, the Eastern Mediterranean is really what the area should be called, not the Mideast, but we're not going to change that. Palestine is the area of Eastern Mediterranean compromising parts of modern Israel and the Palestinian territories of the Gaza Strip along the Mediterranean Sea and the West Bank and the west of Jordan. So the Encyclopedia Britannica does indeed say Palestine is the area, including the Gaza Strip and the West Bank, that it is the area that modern Israel is composing part of. Okay. As far as where the Palestinian people came from, we're going to get into that, but that's going to take an entire episode. So let me hop back over here and see if Chris is here yet. Yes, they were marching in New York today. We started out with that from Ford. Hold on, I don't. And let me figure out how to do this because we're on different software. There we go. Hello, Chris.
Hey, Barry, how are you?
Hello, Chris. There we go, man. Hey, I'm doing good. Thank you for asking, and thanks for checking in on me. Doing good. Everything's good.
Good. Glad to hear that.
Yeah. And speaking of thanks, hello to Pink Flamingo, Tom34B. Hello, welcome back. Joshua Pruitt, thank you for being here. Not going away. Thank you for everything you do. Peace, love, and sunshine. I got to thank Lori Arnold. Love Lori Arnold. Lori surprised me today. Sent me some Mountain Dew, some Tootsie Pops, and some Smarties. and there's a little inside story for all of that. But anyway, thank you, Lori Arnold. If and when you do watch this, you doing okay, Chris?
Yeah, man. Another day.
All right.
You know,
Another day.
Yep.
It's it's one of the and this is totally unplanned, but they say ignorance is bliss, and 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 sometimes you find things out that just make you lose a little bit of hope, and you just got to regenerate that hope within yourself so you can share it with other people. Does that make sense?
Totally,
yeah,
totally.
Okay. All right. We're going to start out tonight, Chris, on the X scroll, the X files. We're going to start out listening to Benjamin Netanyahu first, and then we're going to listen to the leader of Hamas. All right.
Right.
Well, I thought we were, but for some reason, there we go. All right, let's try it this way.
Fake war crimes. This is pure anti-Semitism. The court established to prevent atrocities like the Nazi Holocaust against the Jewish people is now targeting the one state of the Jewish people. First, it outrageously claimed that when Jews live in our homeland, this is a war crime. Second, it claims that when democratic Israel defends itself against terrorists who murder our children, rocket our cities, we're committing another war crime. Yet the ICC refuses to investigate brutal dictatorships like Iran and Syria, who commit horrific atrocities almost daily. As Prime Minister of Israel, I assure you, we will fight this perversion of justice with all our might. When the ICC investigates...
Okay, that's Netanyahu. By the way, the United States vetoed the UN resolution for a ceasefire in Gaza today. The only one to vote against it. What happened here? Oh, I know what happened. Never mind. I went to the post instead of the bookmarks. There we go. All right. And now we'll hear from the founder of Hamas, Sheikh Ahmad Ismail Hassan Yassan. And here's what he has to say.
احنا ما بنكره اليهود وبنقاتل اليهود لانهم يهود. اليهود اهل دين واحنا اهل دين. احنا بنحب كل اهل الاديان. اخويا هذا اللي من امي وابويا اللي دينه مسلم اذا اخذ بيتي وطردني منه انا بقاتل اخويا. بقاتل ابن عمي اذا اخذ ارضي وبيتي وطردني. فلما اليهودي ياخذ ارضي وبيتي ويطردني منها كمان انا مستعد اقاتل. انا ما بقاتل امريكا ولا بريطانيا ولا دول اخرى. انا كل الناس معهم بالسلام. بحب كل الناس وبحب الخير لكل الناس. كمان بحب الخير لليهود. واليهود عاشوا معنا طول حياتهم عمرنا ما اعتدينا عليهم وعمرنا ما اسأنا لهم يعني وصلوا الى مراتب عليا من الوزارات والحكم والاغنى. مين اللي بيعتدي عليهم؟ لكن هم لما ياخذوا ارضي وبطني وبيتي ويتشردوني منه احنا ما بنكره.
Okay, so there we have words from the leader of Hamas, the founder of Hamas, and also from the Prime Minister of Israel. I see a lot of contrast there, Chris.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, especially with the Israelis and them saying this is the Jewish homeland. I think on your last show, I kind of showed the audience how these are not the biblical Israelites, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
mm-hmm.
I showed them that, but then also there's archaeological proof. If anyone wants to go to Haratz, it's a Israeli website, and they talk about
HAARTC.
Yes, it's a 2008 article. It's an older article.
HAARCT, right? Haratz.
right, Haaretz, right. It's a 2008 article, and it dealt with, it says how white were the Israelites, and the archaeologists basically said in a nutshell, well, the ancient Israelites looked more like black Africans.
Right.
That's what the archaeologist said. And he was an Israeli archaeologist. You see,
And
so when I
and
hear Benjamin Netanyahu, when I hear Netanyahu talk about this is the Jewish homeland and all that sort of stuff, I'm like, well, not quite there, buddy. You know,
okay,
not
so
quite.
all right, so we go down then to the leader of Hamas, and what he is saying is basically they love everybody regardless of religion. They love everybody that has a religion. They're just upset over getting kicked out of their homes and off of their land, and that's why they are resisting, is the term they use.
Right, and rightfully so. Wouldn't anybody resist if someone did that to them? I mean, the Native Americans tried to resist, right? And
Mhm.
and you see what happened with Nelson Mandela and the ANC, right? They tried to resist from apartheid, and they
Right.
fought back. So how is this any different than this? You see, how's Hamas? How is what they're doing, Hamas doing, any different than the ANC? I don't see any difference. To me, there's no
I don't
difference.
either personally, um, but the way it's portrayed is Hamas is evil. Palestine is a victim of Hamas, and um, the Jewish people have the right to the land of Israel because of the biblical um, connotations, and there's a definite good and evil, and things aren't always as they seem.
Well, a lot of times, things are reversed. Okay,
Yeah,
sometimes right is wrong and wrong is right. Good is bad and bad is good. Okay,
history tells us that, and
I'm
a lot of times
right,
we're just flat lied to.
right. So you have to, like I said, if you really study history and know the whole historical um, facts behind the 12 tribes, and then knowing that Israel, was really two nations, the North and the
Hmm.
South. The North being Israel, and the South being Judah,
Right,
right?
Judah,
Until I
and
mean,
then
King David,
the individual states of
right,
the other brothers. Yeah.
right, right. It was all broken. It was the people. So anyway, if you know that, then you come to where it is today. You're kind of like, well, not quite. You see. So
Hmm.
um, for me, who knows the history of it, they're not really going to BS me. You can BS the rest of the people, who really don't know and go by what the media has to say, right? I'm not doing that because I know the history. But then listen to this, the founder of Hamas. I think he's deceased now, um, and he's actually correct though. You know, they were there in that land. The Israelis came in and basically kicked them out. I mean, how are you going to come to someone's land that you're not even from and kick somebody off that land and say, "Well, this is
Uh,
our land now"? Huh?
we're about to see it in Venezuela and Guyana.
Right?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So, but the
We've
thing is,
saw it.
but the thing is,
We saw it. We saw it in Ukraine in 2014 when Russia
Mhm.
took, and nothing was done. Um,
Right?
yeah, it doesn't mean the people that it
So
happened to did get pissed off about it.
no, not at all.
They're going. I mean, like
So
you
the
said,
the
who wouldn't? Who wouldn't get mad if somebody came and said, "Okay, that we're taking"? I mean, um, anybody would.
Right. So the thing about it is um, these are Europeans coming to, um, should we say, Asia. All right. I can't recall West Asia. It's really because it's the land of Ham, right? And Ham's son was Canaan.
And
That's
the
basically what this place is. So therefore, it's
Canaanites
black.
were,
So you have a bunch of Europeans, right? Right. So you have a bunch of Europeans coming to a place that was historically black, taking it over and kicking out the inhabitants that were already there now. Like that doesn't even sound right, does it? Does that
and it's
sound right?
been going on. No, it doesn't. And it's been going on since what? It started like in 1916, 1917, that the first
Right, exactly.
small influx started happening. And then, of course, 1948 changed
Right.
everything after World War II. And the
So,
title for
so even
tonight
before
is
that,
What is Real? Because, that's what we see in the media isn't necessarily real.
and that's the truth. See, they can present a narrative that they want to present to the public, to the masses.
I mentioned earlier before you came on, I was talking about 7 reasons why Trump supporters are so vehemently behind him. And one of them is they believe Trump's the only one that can keep America safe. And I said the optics, the perception, and, the way the Biden administration has been handling things geopolitically does not portray strength.
No,
I mean,
and here's the thing. Barry. Listen, I told you. I mean, I've told the audience this. Trump is in a very hairy situation right now. Okay, he has the potential of being or being found guilty in this thing in D.C. The D.C. trial. That's a big one. Okay,
yeah,
but furthermore, I told you the Iranians are really out to get him. Okay, so he's really got himself in a pickle. He really does. Like I said, I'm not for Trump, nor am I against him.
yeah.
But here's the thing: I'm not for
We're just
nor am I
doing
against
analysis.
Trump. Right. I mean, Trump did a lot of good for the United States. He really did. But then a lot of people said he didn't. I think he did a lot of good for the United States. But like I said, I'm not for nor am I against him. But he's right now, he's in a pickle, right? And he needs to be careful of how he plays this. He really does. But knowing that, just think about if he gets found guilty and the judge sentences him to prison, right? What do you think's going to happen after that? Oh, here we go. Here come the right.
Megyn Kelly, the former Fox correspondent that was the moderator of the debate the other night, said if Trump goes to prison, America will burn. She said that today.
There you go. Right. There you go. So now you have Trump supporters, or what we call right-wing groups, threatening to commit terrorism. Okay. So now you have the right wing threatening to commit terrorism. Now you have these Islamists, the jihadists, threatening to commit terrorism here in the United States. So we have terrorism or threats of terrorist attacks on 2 fronts. One from the jihadist, and then 2 from the right wing or Trump supporters. You see?
Yeah, and the FBI's right. I think the FBI is primarily talking about the extremists, the Muslim extremists, primarily those that ISIS and Al Qaeda have called upon to bring the fight to the United States at this time.
Exactly.
Not that,
So,
if something happens with Trump, but getting back to, okay, the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad was attacked. 12 to 14 missiles in the area of the U.S. Embassy, all within the green zone, something we haven't talked about forever. Mission support site in Euphrates in Syria was hit. Al-Assad Air Base in Iraq was hit twice. And it seems like a lot of people are questioning, why are we allowing the Houthis to do this? Why are we allowing the Iranian-backed militias to do this? And my statement is, by Biden not doing anything geopolitically, it makes us look really weak. Is that an accurate statement? And go ahead.
It makes us look weak. It makes us look weak, but at the same time, right, when they attack, listen, we're not even prepared. We are not prepared. Okay, so here's the thing. Here in the United States, I kind of relate this to boxing. Okay, I used to box, and
okay,
someone has said, like I make the correlation of these jihadists sitting up there saying, I'm getting ready to punch you in the face. Right now, us in the United States, we have our hands down. Okay, now someone's telling me they're getting ready to punch me in the face. Don't you think I need to put my hands up to protect myself?
Yeah. You take your glasses off and you put your hands up. And we don't have our hands up.
Yourself.
Right.
Not at all. So, like, why in the world, okay, yeah, I'm gonna hit you back. So say for instance, we do a couple of strikes on over there in Iraq and maybe Syria or whatever. Here
and basically we're hitting empty warehouses. We're not, it's not a proportional response, as they like to say.
Right. So when they do strike us back here in the United States, what defenses do we have up in the United States? None. So we're sitting ducks. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it seems like that.
We're sitting. So, it's I really don't know. I really don't know how these people think, but just out of basic common sense, you would think, all right, look, now's the time for us to start with our countermeasures to protect, the schools, the mosques, the synagogues, the churches, public schools, sporting events, schools, all the soft targets. You see,
somebody tried to burn down Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthplace today.
So,
and it was go ahead. You're going to summarize it? It was a black woman.
So yeah, so basically, she's probably crazy. That's probably what she is. She's probably some crazy person. I promise you that. So, but the point is, they're gonna attack soft targets. So this is the time to implement your countermeasures. You see what I'm saying? So instead,
do we even have any?
My hands. Oh, I don't know if they know about them. I do.
I know you do. That's your business. You've taught other countries how to do it. Has anybody asked you in America to teach us?
Yeah.
I mean,
they're too dumb. I'm not gonna lie. They're too stupid. They're too dumb. Like, I'm totally serious. Listen, I am so serious when I tell you we are completely clueless about what to do. Do you hear me? Because we don't want to scare the populace. We don't want to scare the people into thinking something's wrong. Well, there is something wrong.
Something very
We're
wrong.
about to be attacked. We're about
Yes,
to be attacked, and
we are.
you have these people out here, the sheep. You have the people out here, the sheep, thinking everything's okay. Well, everything's not okay, people. Everything's not okay. There's a problem, and these jihadists, these extremists, are getting ready to show you that the United States is very vulnerable to attacks, and it's not going to be just like one or two. It's going to be a series, several attacks in the United States. And what are we going to say? Well, what are we going to do? Like what? Why are we so reactive to things instead of being proactive? That's
I
what
don't
I
know.
want to know.
That's a great question. That's and I messaged somebody today and said, that the U.S. embassy had been. It appeared that they were trying to attack the U.S. embassy in Baghdad, Iraq, and the response was, what will we do about it? And I said, we won't do anything. And they came back, why?
No.
And I'm going to ask Chris that tonight. I don't get it. And I'm not a big hawk. I'm not one to say go to war and, let's, turn everything into a, pave over everything, turn it into glass, whatever. But I am one that, if you do fight, if you want to fight, the option is you got to fight back. And am I wrong?
Right. So this. No, you're right. But check this out, Barry. Right. So say, for instance, we fight back and we hit them back hard. Maybe in Iraq, right? We hit these militia groups back hard, and Iran says to Hezbollah and Hamas, all right, you got your, or even AQ or ISIS, and they sit and say, you got your people ready? All right, go ahead, launch them. Launch attacks. You see, that's just payback. That's payback for what we did there in Iraq or Syria. So, all right, I was like, we're going to show you. Oh, you want to hit us here? Then we'll hit you back in the United States, and you guys aren't even ready. You see?
So, yeah, I do. But I mean, America's not known for just taking smack upon smack upon smack in the face and not doing something about it. And a lot of the people are questioning. I get it. Yeah, I've said it on here multiple times. Everything that happens there is a retribution for something that's happened in the past. And yeah, if we slap them back, they're going to come at us again. Something just popped into my head. Don't we have bases in Turkey? Doesn't the United States have?
I think we have maybe. I think we have like one or two bases in Turkey. I'm pretty sure. Matter of fact, they didn't they go up to the base? Didn't the Turkish people try to invade the base?
Try to overrun the base. I think they might have.
Yeah.
And so, is that what we're concerned about? That they will get such a mass together that they're going to overrun our bases?
They could overrun our bases. They could attempt to. I don't know how far they would get. I really don't. I think. Because honestly, there are a lot of tactics that the jihadists could use to run around.
And I'm assuming their weapons, the quality of their weapons have increased since we were there in Iraq.
Oh, of course. So Um, to do a ground attack, it's really not that difficult. I mean, I already know how to. I know how to do it. You see, I would know how to do it,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
therefore I know the count. Therefore, I know the counter of how to prevent it. Right. So,
Right.
also, but the big thing here is protecting the homeland. Okay, those guys over there, the military, the military leaders, the base defense plans are, I'm sure, are pretty solid.
Good.
I'm
I'm
pretty
I'm
sure.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm. That's an ease of my mind to hear that. Um,
Right. Yeah.
An anti-marijuana advocate said one marijuana edible induces psychotic behavior, and 2 hits of marijuana can make you psychotic too. So that kind of brings back the 1950s reefer madness kind of signal. Um, Chris, the title for tonight is "What is Real." Could these wars, Ukraine war, um, war in Gaza, war between North and South Korea, whatever may be coming, could they be just major distractions um, for a globalist, elitist um, attempt to depopulate on a major grand scale? Little conspiracy theory here,
Yes.
and I'm going
That's
to
not.
yes,
Yeah.
okay. All right. World Economic Forum
Yeah.
agenda contributor Nagari Woods demonstrates the arrogant and contemptuous way self-proclaimed global elitists view the new neo-feudal peasant class. She says the good news is the elites across the world trust each other more and more, so we can come together and design and do beautiful things together. The bad news is that the majority of people trust the elites less. So we can lead, but if people aren't following, we're not going to get where we want to go. Um, I've got, hold on a second. That's the post. Let me get back over here to, there we go. Um, then I've got this, a top CDC official, and this was
the solution. Every study published in the last 5 years, when you look at vaccine refusers, I'm not talking about, well, hesitants, most of them we can talk into coming to terms, but refusers, we'll just get rid of all the whites in the United States because
she wasn't kidding. See, people chuckled, and she looked at him like,
it is the most
I'm
diverse
serious.
city in the entire.
yeah, she was serious. Um, and then there's QAnon, and I'm not even sure what this video is about, but this came out 4 hours ago from QAnon. I don't know if they've taken a Mexican drug cartel guy prisoner, or if he's leading them. I'm assuming he's leading them because he's got a
Yeah,
pistol
because
on his.
there's no.
I'm not sure
Yeah,
what this.
maybe they're getting trained by them, right?
Hey, if you've
Maybe they're
seen
getting.
some of the videos, if you've seen some of the videos of the way the cartel forces are decked out and deployed, um, they look like our special forces. You know, I mean, they got the same gear, the same all the way up to the what they roll up on. Um, it's a little terrifying. Okay, this is in
So
Miami Beach. This 4 hours ago. You want to go ahead?
yeah, so that last video says you can't stop what's coming.
Yeah,
So obviously they're
it's a
getting trained by
somebody's getting
Q and the
trained to do
California.
something. QAnon people. It comes
Right,
from the trademark
right.
Q, and Q the Storm is the actual at if you want to check out some of their stuff. But
Yeah,
it
I'll actually
and
listen. I just kind of want to say this. Go ahead, Barry. I'm gonna let you finish,
no,
but
go ahead.
I want to come back to this.
No, go ahead.
You know, here's the thing, right? Yeah, because here's the thing, right? You know, it's one thing when you're training and you're shooting at paper targets, okay, and it's totally
And
different
nobody's
when
shooting back.
you have someone that can, yeah, you know now you know what do you do when you have people that are really trained and skilled in violence, and that's what they've done for like the longest time. Now their skills are uh, they have skills that you don't. They have training
Hmm.
that you don't, and they have tactics that you don't. Now what do? You see? So all these people are getting up there, getting this training and all this other stuff. What are you going to do if someone brings the fight to you? And I sit there and say this to like the people here in the United States, you know, like guys like this. What are you going to do? You know, like when the jihadists attack the United States, because they're going to bring the fight. They really are. Okay, are you going to take the fight to them? You see, or are they going to bring the fight to you? Because keep in mind, those jihadists are a lot more skilled and they have a lot more experience than you will ever have. Trust. They've been fighting over there. They go to Syria. They go to Iraq. They train together. You see,
Hmm.
and now they're coming here to the United States, and we think we train, but these guys have real world experience. You're just training. They have relevant experience. Now what are you going to do?
Okay. When you're
You
saying
see?
we, are you talking about when you're saying we, are you talking about our military people, our recent veterans, our militia groups?
Well,
Who?
when I say okay, when I say we, I'm talking about like guys like guys like this that are
Okay.
nothing can
Yeah.
stop what's going to happen. Them like you're up here flaunting on television or whatever you do, showing oh look at our skills, but that's cute. But real world, we got real
Gotcha.
people that have those skills, right? Those fighting skills, and have used them before, and you haven't. How are you going to defeat them? You see?
Yeah, I do.
So
Uh,
that's just what's wrong with that.
okay. Um, Current situation: Miami Beach Convention Center, um, and a massive pro-Palestinian protest underway in Miami. Those that have just recently joined us, we showed you at the beginning of the episode the protest in New York City earlier and still ongoing. Okay, this is our relief break in the middle of things here. Well, when things are really, really serious, we got to have something that we can smile about. And we've heard about girl math, boy math. This is dog math.
Okay, we've had boy math and girl math, now we have dog math. Okay, to start, when there is 15 balls out, but one goes under the couch, I now have 0 balls. When you leave for 3 hours, it's 3 hours. When you leave for 3 minutes, it is also 3 hours. Dinner's always at 5 o'clock. When it's at 5:03, you're 2 hours late. When it's at 4 o'clock, you're also 2 hours late. When pets are stopped after an hour, it equals 0 pets, and now you practically hate me. When we get to the exact same toy, we only got 1. When one dog walks in front of the house, it equals to 40 dragons that are trying to attack us. Okay, we've had boy math.
Absolutely no doubt about that last one. As far as my girl goes, Oakley, one dog outside or anything outside, it's like 40 dragons coming to attack us. All right. Back to the what is real and insider. This is a thread I'm going to recommend to people. Insider Dr. Lawrence Dunnigan recalls a meeting he attended in 1969 regarding the plans for a new world order, including population control and the ongoing hijacking of medicine and society. Again, this is a thread. You can find Blake Haben, and there are 8 or 10 different short videos that he's cut up into this thread. Talk was given by Dr. Richard Day, late professor of pediatrics at Mount Sinai, former director of Planned Parenthood, on plans of, quote, the order, end quote. And it was to a group of pediatricians. Took place on March 20, 1969 at the Pittsburgh Pediatric Society. He was in the audience and later prepared audio tapes and reciting his memory and the notes he took. At the end, he talks about what you can do about it. So you can, we don't tell you what to think or how to think, just give you things to think about, and think about taking a few minutes and checking this out after we are done here. Climate change. All right. The climate is changing. And I've never been one to say it's because of anything man is doing. Or, it's well, I'm not going to get into it because we'll get banned for talking about this. We will. I'm just going to give you something to think about here as a simple
5%.
A simple question is asked.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Panelists, let me just go right down the line real fast. What % of our atmosphere is CO2? Take your best guess. You don't have to be accurate. All down the line.
Repeat that question.
What % of our atmosphere is CO2, carbon
Repeat the question.
dioxide? Wild guess. It's okay.
I'll buy 5%.
5?
These are experts. They're going to bite. They're going to guess. All right. They're up there testifying on what we should be doing to remove carbon. All right. CO2, carbon dioxide. For those that don't know, plants require CO2, especially plants that we turn into food. It's conspiracy theory night, but if you haven't figured it out when we say what is real, because a lot of times what we are told is not real. Chris.
Yep.
Border funding bill. 191 Republicans voted against it, but yet it is one of their massive, huge issues. This is the kind of politics that people don't realize go on.
So the Republicans said no to the border funding.
Yeah. 2 of them voted yes. 191 voted no. 4 Democrats voted no, and 227 voted yes. I'm sure this is because it was some Democrat's idea, but it's not very good optics. I know that's how it works. I was told I was running for the Indiana Senate, and this was shortly after. It was 2004, and there was talk of they wanted to put a high-speed railroad in from Chicago through Indianapolis down to Cincinnati to transport not only people but products. And I thought, well, that's an idea worth investigating. And I was told you can't, your opponent's already come out for it, so you've got to be against it. And that's what's wrong with politics. One of the things. All right. After Israel flooded several Hamas tunnels, Hamas fighters supposedly have come above ground and have been taken by Israel. They've surrendered to Israel. Have you heard about this?
I saw that.
Okay. All right. Are they getting Hamas, or are they just getting anybody of potential military age? That's my first question to you as the expert.
I think they're grabbing people of military age. I really do.
Okay. Because this is good optics for Israel, right? I mean, this is what Israel wants to see. Yeah.
Right. That's and who knows if that picture is actually legit. You see?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or who's just you know, they could be that's one of those pics that who even said that it's Israel. You see?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
I don't the stuff that I see on the internet, I take with a grain of salt nowadays. I really do.
Except for this show.
Yeah, except for this show, exactly.
The Brazilian army, this came in 7 hours ago. Brazilian army announced that it's deploying the 18th Mechanized Cavalry Regiment in the state of Roraima. The decision means that an additional 600 soldiers will be moved to the border with Venezuela and Guyana. Brazil fears that Venezuela is about to invade Guyana. And we kind of fear that too.
I'm not fearing. Yeah, they're going to. It's just a matter of time.
A Guyana military helicopter with 7 people on board was reported missing in the disputed region with Venezuela. Wreckage has been found, and 5 are dead with 2 survivors. So that might have been the first incident. A couple other headlines here. Ian Kramer, son of U.S. Senator Kevin Kramer from North Dakota, has been charged with manslaughter after a crash kills a sheriff's deputy during a police chase. Not good optics.
No, not at all.
Hunter Biden indicted in California, accused of spending millions on on quote an extravagant lifestyle, end quote, while not paying taxes. U.S. vetoes UN Security Council resolution calling for immediate humanitarian ceasefire in Gaza. I mentioned that earlier. This one I thought you might find interesting, Chris. The House Speaker, Mike Johnson, on Tuesday of this week at a Christian nationalist gala, compared himself to Moses.
Yeah, right.
He said that God spoke to him, and God said, Mike, you are going to have to part the perversion in the United States, just like Moses parted the Red Sea.
Yeah, it's called schizophrenia.
Okay. Key Club of Rome member Dennis Meadows hopes the quote necessary depopulation of the planet down to 1 billion, which is an 87.5 reduction from today's population, by the way, can occur in a civil way. So he wants to find a civil way to kill 8 billion of us. To me, this is much bigger than all the wars that are going on. The fact that they are telling us what they want to do to us, and instead we're looking to fight amongst ourselves instead of going, how in the fuck do we get to these people? You know, they better be protected.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's just what I think that's what a lot of people should be thinking, and instead they're worried about how to kill your local Democrat. Anyway, and it's not just one guy, Klaus Schwab. I've talked to this guy a lot. Talked about him a lot. He says there is an anti-system, and that anti-system is called libertarianism, which means to tear down everything which creates some kind of influence of government into private lives. Yeah, exactly. Libertarianism comes from, the key root word is liberty, and the idea of government with major influence to private lives is against libertarian views. So he's right on that. But everybody says the liberal global elitists, all right? Liberal and elitist do not go together, as he is showing us right here. Capitalist and elitist go together. It's about the greed. It's about the fact that the elitists want to control those of us that they consider the peasants. And we should take possibly a lesson from history, world history, from the French Revolution, when the peasants were told, you know, make yourself some cake and eat that cake. Ha 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 ha. And yeah, we're the peasants, by the way, people. Those of you listening, we're the peasants. This is much bigger than Trump, Biden. This is much bigger than hating somebody on the far right and calling him a chud, or having somebody on the far right calling you a liberal queer, or whatever the slam, you know, whatever slams are going to be thrown back and forth at each other. It's much bigger than that. This is the us and them, and the them is a very elite portion of the population that we should be identifying, and we're trying to do on this program. And it'll probably get us taken down, but it needs to be done, in my opinion. Okay, this came in 11 hours ago, and at that time, 7 rockets inside the U.S. Embassy compound. No American casualties. Roughly 9 rockets were launched by Iranian-backed forces near the capital. It's always Iranian-backed forces. And again, Chris, I think the country's getting tired of hearing that, and us not doing anything about it.
I mean, listen. We do stuff, but is it really enough? No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. All right. We'll revert back here and close out with Israel and Gaza again. IDF strikes on the outskirts of Ramesh and Atiyah al-Shabaab in the southern area of Lebanon. So Israel's the cross border between Israel and Lebanon, and thus Hezbollah is still going on. The cross border between Israel and Syria, thus Iranian-backed militants, is still going on, and Israel is very, very active in Gaza. But here's what happened this evening, their time, with the targets in Tel Aviv. Large-scale rocket attack, and so they haven't crushed Hamas. I'm assuming these came from Gaza and not from Lebanon.
They have not crushed Hamas. Matter of fact, my understanding is Hamas is actually beating their ass. That's what I'm getting at.
So the report I had earlier, Israel losing the war, is not out of the question. Okay. Wow.
That's what I've been hearing.
Okay. You know, you should never trust a politician, because you always see when the politician leaves office, they say, okay, now I'm going to tell you the truth. Like,
so
you were supposed
to be telling us the truth the entire time. So you lied to us the entire time?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Kevin McCarthy says, quote, when you look at the Democrats, they actually look like America, meaning mixed, you know, a diverse group. When I look at my party, we look like the most restrictive country club in America, end quote. I'm not sure why he's doing this, why he's coming out here making Republicans look bad. I'm not against it, but I don't see why he's doing it. This is one of those things, you know, you talk about you look for anomalies in behaviors when you're trying to read what's going on. In politics, this is an anomaly in behavior. This means something's up. I don't know what it is, but something's up. I have a feeling he's trying to distance himself from Republicans because he wants to distance himself from the fallout when Trump does come crashing down. That's my guess at the moment, but but we'll see. And speaking of politics, New York City Mayor Eric Adams, following his trip to Washington, D.C. to seek federal assistance on the migrant crisis, says simply, quote, help is not on the way, end quote. We did not walk out from D.C. with any level of optimism that anything is going to drastically change. So he's not the first Democratic governor to go, or Democratic mayor of a major city to go to D.C. and say we need to do something about what's happening with this migrant crisis, and to be told, sorry, it's, you know, we're not going to do anything about it. That means they're not going to do anything about the border. I just don't get it, Chris.
Your guess is as good as mine, but it's really not shocking. It's really not.
And then we got one final picture of them supposedly 200 suspected Hamas operatives transferred to Shin Bet for investigation. Shin Bet is the
that's the Israeli that's the Israeli internal security. So that they're the equivalent to our FBI.
Our FBI. That's what I was going to say. Okay. All right. And I think that is our that's our last clip. So I'll hop back over here. We'll get into the chat here real quick and see if if you have any questions or comments, pop them into the chat now, because I'm back over here and we'll bring them up to Chris. So Chris, we ought to be coming together as the peasant class, the 99% peasant class of humanity, and instead they've dumbed us down, they've divided us, they've propagandized us. How do we get it? Where do we go? Where do we go from here?
So where do we go? All right, since the simple fact that they dumbed us down, that hurts us tremendously. The brainwashing of America it's just, look, we're pretty much gone as a people, right? I can tell if you're a brainwashed program individual just by the way, if you carry a cell phone or with you everywhere you go, and you're looking down at your cell phone every minute, I'm just like, you're done. I mean, there's like, if something were to happen, you wouldn't even know, because you're so consumed by what's on with that phone that you're so situationally unaware of what's going on around you, that you end up getting killed or getting hurt because you're not even paying attention. What is so important on that phone that you can't put it down for like 3 or 4 hours at a time? Tell me, because I'm at a loss. Okay.
Well,
and
you know,
like, well, like even like when I'm at the gym working out, people are on their cell phones, you know, goofing off. And I'm just like, you're here at the gym to work out. Like, what is so important on these phones that you have to bring these cell phones with you everywhere you go? I don't get it. Like, is your attention span that short? I mean, that you constantly have to be paying attention to stuff that's like for the life of me, I don't understand. I really don't. I just
I smiled when you said that, because you've called me enough to know that I don't have my phone with me all the time. But that being said, could this be a part of the, to make sure we're divided, get us so dependent upon that small computer we carry with us everywhere that we call our phone, get us so dependent on that we do not make the necessary connections interpersonally in real life that are going to be needed when it comes time to survive if we get to that point, which I think we are heading.
And that's so true, because think about if they cut that stuff off, what do you think our society would do? They would lose their minds.
Absolutely.
They really would.
Yeah,
Because they wouldn't know how to.
You wouldn't know how to. I mean, there are a lot of people that have never used a map, you know, that have had they've their whole time they've been driving, they've used nothing but GPS. Or even if they have used a map, they're so dependent. Go ahead.
Just all you gotta do is take technology away, and what happens? Everyone will be jumping off of bridges and jumping off the roofs and just doing all sorts of crazy stuff, because they don't know how to do the most rudimentary things. You see, they can't do the most basic things, because now their computer's gone, and you've been so dependent upon that computer in your hand. Now it's gone. Now you don't know anything. You see?
Yeah.
You're totally,
and it's going to disappear. They will take it away. It will eventually disappear. You know, tomorrow we got a massive sun flare coming. At some point that's going to impact Earth because of our weakening magnetic field. And if something like that were to happen just out of the blue with no warning at all, I can see exactly what you're saying. People jumping off bridges and stuff because they don't know what's going on. And there's no one to tell them what to do because they don't have any connection to anybody that's not on their phone. We really need to be establishing interpersonal relationships with people in our area in order to survive if it comes to that, in hopes that it doesn't. But with knowledge, with knowledge comes power, and the knowledge of being able to navigate, the knowledge of being able to grow crops, the knowledge of there are a lot of knowledge that needs to be shared with people, and people are too isolated. They isolate themselves with the aid of their phone. In many
So you take that away. Right. You take that away and see what happens. Watch.
Okay. We'll do some questions here from the chat. Lori Arnold. Hi, Lori. In case you missed it, love you. Thank you for the Tootsie Pops, the Smarties, and the Mountain Dews. Lori says McCarthy is a politician. Hang on. Politician scorned by his own party. Okay. Washington, D.C. This comes from the sexy Pink Flamingo. Washington, D.C. is too busy trying to get funding for the Ukraine and Israel wars than taking care of borders and the immigrant problem. Okay. Is it safe to say there may be some politically lost people out there? I think that is safe to say, Joshua. What do you think, Chris?
Politically lost people or just lost people, period?
I think they're both.
To do with it. Yeah, it's both.
Right.
I just, this country just lost. Period. That's bottom line. This country is lost, period.
You think there's no hope? Or do you think we can come together, as enough of us as a people can come together to stand up to the bullshit?
No.
I was afraid you said
that. There's just no way. Like I told you, we're just totally brainwashed as a society. There's nothing you can do with that. When people are brainwashed to the extent and level people are here in the United States, it's pretty much a lost cause. It really is.
I just keep coming back to the art of war, and the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And if we all realize that those of us in America who consider other Americans the enemy, that even if you do consider that, you know, they're going to be the enemy of your enemy as well when you find out who's really trying to destroy everything, trying to destroy the food, trying to destroy the economies, you know, trying to force a one world elitist order that does what is for the common good. Those are catchphrases we need to watch out for. Catholic Tutor, greeting everyone in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Greetings to you, Catholic Tutor. Thanks for being here. Are you saying that smartphones make us dumber? Say it ain't so. Chris?
Yeah, well, of course he's being that's tongue in cheek. He's being extremely sarcastic, but yeah, it's the truth. Smartphones made us dumber.
And not going away reminds us that there are going to be some bad storms in the United States tomorrow, especially around the Gulf of Mexico area, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. Possible tornadoes down there, and then possibly some blizzard-like conditions in the Northeast on Sunday. It's going to be in the 60s tomorrow here in Indiana, Chris, and then it's going to be 28 on Sunday. So some intense weather. Keep your head on a swivel on that as well. I agree, Joshua. That's the dream. We have to keep hoping that people will come together. And that's the only hope I've got, is that we keep talking to people on here, and we keep trying to get people to see, the real enemies are there. There's really something. There are really a lot of things that we ought to be concerned about, and we ought to be focusing on those things and not focusing on trying to destroy each other as Americans, in my opinion. Chris, any final words?
No, not for right now. But like I said, I still want everyone to be aware of what's getting ready to come down the pipe here. So don't let people sit there and tell you nothing's coming. Something is coming, and people really need to be prepared for that. So keep your heads out of your cell phones, off your smartphones, off your iPhone, whatever you have. And I don't know what people carry, but now's the time to be.
And you're talking about when you're out in public, when you're not just sitting around. We're not saying don't use your phones, don't use your computers. We're saying when you're out in situations that could potentially erupt into something totally unexpected, be aware.
Right. That's all. I should have made that clarification.
No, that's fine. I hate that. That's why we do this together. I miss something up. You say, wait a minute. That's why we do this. Not going away says, thanks, Chris, as always. And I'm sure everybody in the chat shares that sentiment. Thank you as always, dude. We'll see you Monday night.
For sure. I'll be here.
All right, bro. All right. We'll talk to you over the weekend, I'm sure.
All right.
Thank you, man.
Take care. Have a good weekend.
You do the same. And thank you all. Thank you all for being here. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, share the video if you think people ought to be hearing this. It's only on here on YouTube at the moment. We will be on Facebook after it's processed, and we can repost it. We'll be on Facebook, on Twitter, on Twitch, on Rumble, and there's one other platform, LinkedIn. But I don't know if we can repost on LinkedIn or if it has to be live. But anyway, thank you. Thank you all for being here. If you'd like to contact me, American Doofus, AMERICANDUFUS @gmail.com is the Gmail account for the American Doofus channel. I'm Barry Welsh, the host of the American Doofus channel. And if you'd like to help us be able to keep doing this, or help me be able to buy my grandkids some Christmas, you can always Cash App, and that's $ American Doofus. Once again, all one word, AMERICANDUFUS for Doofus. Again, thank you, not going away, for dropping that in there. And as always, thanks to our buddy Chris. He's a good man. He's a smart man. He's an experienced man. And he's willing to come on here and share his knowledge with us. And we so greatly appreciate it during these dark times. It's a dark world. Be a light always. I love y'all. Thank you for being here. See you next time.